Hello, I'm at Chino Hills State Park today. This is Mike. This is Blue Learning with Mike. And like I said, it's my favorite spot to be at for a midday hike or a weekend hike, and it's a little crowded here today, so we'll probably see some bikers zooming by me, so I guess I better stay on this good side of the road here. Okay, maybe you guys will see them coming behind me before I do. Oh, there's some right over there, look. Right on that hill, look at that. All right. So today I wanted to talk about punctuality. You know, I've done all those service calls, 16,000 of them. I did a video, I think, where I mentioned that, but I think the number one thing, beside trust, you know, if you're going to be a service technician, showing up at people's houses, is being on time. I think being on time, trust is number one, but being on time, I think through everything in life, is number one. It shows respect for the other person. You know, you're giving people time when you set an appointment with somebody. So every time I would come over, it mostly would be by appointment. I would never just show up at somebody. I don't do any cold calling, you know, where you knock on the door and just, surprise, I'm here to sell you something. No, that's a harder gig than mine. You know, when I come over, they're expecting me, and not only expecting me, they're waiting for me to come. So when I set a time, that's the time. I don't come early unless I'm asked to come early. You know, there's been times where I've arrived 10 minutes before our scheduled time, and I just park around the corner and stay there for 10 minutes. Showing up exactly on time. You know, people are busy. They're picking up kids. They're doing stuff. And you don't know if they planned the whole day for you to be there right at, say, 4 o'clock. They might have rearranged the entire day to be there right at 4 o'clock. Or whatever the time is. So you got to respect that. Oh, here comes some bikers. Here comes a group of bikers here. So you got to respect that time. We try to instill that in our kids, you know. Timeliness is very important, and I think the older they're getting, the more they're able to see that. I'm going to pause this while I walk by these bikers here. Okay. Here's the road I'm going on. Check that out. That's kind of cool. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? Time, punctuality. Yeah, so sometimes I would arrive early. I would just park around the corner and wait. Show up exactly on time, to the minute. I don't know. I think that's important, and I kind of get excited about being on time. You know, not a minute late, not a minute early. Right on time. You know, I just had a thought in my head. I'm trying to look at the scenery over here. I keep losing my track. I'm going to do some other videos when it's not focused on me. I can't just flip the camera forward and back real quick, but without stopping the recording. But man, this is cool. Maybe on the way back I'll shoot the camera the other way so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Anyway, punctuality. So I have a rule. It's just a rule, something I've done all these years. I just call it a minute per minute. For every minute you're going to be late, your minimum is a minute. So for example, if you're going to be an hour late, call them no less than an hour before. If you're going to be 15 minutes late, call them no later than 15 minutes before. Okay, I don't even like being 5 minutes late. So I've either called or texted people, hey, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. Is that okay? Well, of course it's okay. They got a broken computer, man. But it shows respect for their time. If you're going to be late, and we're all going to be late, let them know you're going to be late. And my rule is a minute for minute. For every minute you're going to be late, let them know ahead of time, no later than that minute. Does that make sense? So, not that I'm going to be, a minute late and text them a minute. No, inside of 5 minutes I think is okay. But, if you're going to be late, if you're in traffic, you're going to be late. So, if you know you're going to be late, oh, this is so nice. I can't wait to shoot this on the way back. So if you know you're going to be late, especially we have these Google Maps, and the Google Maps will tell you when you're going to be there. All right, we got bikers too. Google Maps will tell you when you're going to be late. So most of our GPSs now tell you exactly when you're going to arrive on time. And if you're supposed to be there at 4 o'clock and your Google Maps tells you you're going to be there at 4:05, then you better call that person and tell them you're going to be 5 minutes late, unless you're trying to beat Google, which is a challenge for some people. They see that Google time as a challenge. But those tools help. Okay, I'm going to be there at a certain time, and this thing says I'm going to be late. Don't try to beat them, and don't wait till the appointment time to call the client and say, hey, I'm going to be there 20 minutes late. Well, 20 minutes is quite a bit. So if you're going to be there 20 minutes late, you're going to know that 20 minutes before. Anyway, that's my rule. Oh, look, we got a big hill coming up here. Look at that. It's bigger than it looks like. So I might be huffing in a minute. Tiny bit out of shape. I try to come to Chino about every 3 weeks maybe. So I saw a rabbit. I'll shoot that. Maybe I'll put that in one of the intros or one of the clips. If I see anything else, I'll try to grab it. But it's all green now in Chino. There's no flowers quite yet, but they're going to be popping any week now. It's about the middle of the end of March. So anyway, back to the on time. So yeah, you're giving people that gift. You're building trust. Right away, you're building trust. If you are, we're talking first impressions too. And there's no better first impression to make than being on time and being ready. Okay? We try to stress that to our kids. And I think the older they're getting, the more they're understanding the importance of punctuality and being on time, especially when they're going out with friends. Their friends leave them hanging. Their friends are late. Their friends are just dragging the whole night down because they're 15 minutes, half an hour late. That isn't cool. And now my daughters, who are, in their 20s, if they didn't realize how important time was before, they certainly realize it now. So anyway, I wanted just to make this short video talking about the importance of punctuality being on time and all that stuff. So there'll be more topics like that. But I'm going to enjoy my hike, and I'm going to reverse the camera on the way back and do some footage of Chino State Park. So another topic I wanted to talk about was quickly mention is door knocking. Of all those thousands of service calls I've done, door knocking is, I don't know, maybe the most common. It's not like it used to be. Now when I come over, they're ready for me. We already have an appointment. I'm not doing a cold call. But you know, there's different types of doors too. So how do you knock on these doors? Well, I've got my method. I don't think there is a method, but here's my method. I do 5 knocks. Now today everybody's got a video camera right on their door. So I tend to do the doorbell first, just because some of these homes, they're going to be upstairs or they're going to be in a room. They're probably not going to hear the door knock unless you go real loud. And I don't like to get there and beat up on the door and be all loud. So I try to hit the doorbell. You're going to have to be on camera anyway, so hit that doorbell, get on camera. I don't talk to the camera, the ring cam, but I try to hit it because that usually is your loudest announcement that you're here. If you're knocking on the door and nobody hears you, well, that forces you to knock again and knock again and knock louder, and then it sounds like you're trying to beat the door down. So I try to use a doorbell first. If you knock a wooden door, try to knock towards the center. That's the most hollow, and that's going to make it louder, resonate more inside. If it's a metal door, you know, I try to bang on the frame. Not bang on the frame, but I try to knock on the frame. Never use your keys or your ring to make that louder. That's rude. You know, a key, somebody has a glass door, don't use your key to tap on that glass. Knock like a regular person. But just a quick video, 5 knocks for me, and then I step aside. I step behind the doormat. Most people have a doormat. Oh, this is great. Most people have a doormat. And this thing is locked on me, so wherever I move, it's gonna move. What was I saying? Oh, doormat, yeah. So 5 steps. I learned this from my real estate days, some book I read like 30 years ago. Knock on the door, and then take a few steps back. And I use the doormat as a I'm going to get some shade here in a minute. I use that doormat as kind of the space buffer that I'm looking for. So knock or ring the bell, step back behind the doormat, so when they open the door, you know, you're not right there in their face. You know, there's safety and space, so give them their space. Get that sun out of here. So give them their space. And remember, if they have a video camera, you're always going to be on tape. Okay? You know, I usually will check my zipper, you know, do a quick little check, make sure there's no food on my face from lunch. So when you do that now, just remember you're on tape doing that. Okay, so be discreet. You're on video. But you know, the regular little checks that I do. Make sure the zipper is good, make sure the collar is good, no dandruff, you know, right before they open the door. I want to do all those little checks. Just remember you're on camera. So either move to the side of the ring or check all that before you get there. Anyway, there's another lesson of blue learning. My name is Mike, and you guys have a great day. Okay, this is Mike and a bunch of other people signing off for Blue Learning. Try to make it out to Chino State Park, 71 freeway in Sokol Canyon. It's beautiful up here. Have a great day. I don't know if you could see that rabbit right there, but I just turned the camera on and already found one.